This is data analytics with me, Miss Park. And in today's video, we'll be looking into some basic few steps that can be carried out when cleaning a data set. But first of all, I would like to give us a quick overview of what data cleaning is and reason why we clean data. Data cleaning is simply the process of ensuring that our data set is free from errors, from inconsistencies before an analysis. And the reason why we clean data is to ensure accuracy, to communicate effectively, and to improve our decision making. When there is a clean data set, we communicate effectively. When there is a clean data set, it will help us in decision making. Let's dive into what we have today. This data set is a dirty raw data for this explanatory video. And in this data, we have a lot of errors. So the first thing that you have to do when you have a data set for an analysis is to make sure that you observe your data. In observing your data, you are taking note of every errors, every mistakes, inconsistencies that need to be corrected. And there are a few steps that can be followed in cleaning a data. You check for duplicates, you handle missing values, you trim the unwanted spaces, you correct the data type, you fix inconsistencies in the data, you filter to remove sheet rows, you validate your data. First thing we get to work on this data set is to check the data format, to know the data format that each of these columns are represented in. Taking for example this total sales column, is talking about sales, and sales is supposed to be represented in currency, but in this case it's just written as text or numbers, just like that. So in order to properly format this total sales column to have a currency symbol, what we get to do here is we change this from general setting to currency data format. You come over to your general here, come to currency, click on currency, and it will convert. In cases whereby you don't want to make use of dollar symbol, there are other currency symbols that you can select from. Doing that, you come to number ribbon, come to symbols, you scroll to select whichever symbol you want to represent it in. But in this case, I'll make use of dollar symbol. Also, when you don't need decimal places in your values, you remove the decimal places, put it to 0, and it changes. So the next thing we'll get to do here is to remove these blank rows, because we cannot continue with every other thing we have to do here without removing the blank rows, because it's an obstacle to this data set cleaning. Then we select, we come to find and select, go to specials, select blanks, okay it, then come over to delete tab, click to select delete sheet rows, then click outside. Now it has eliminated the blank rows. The third step is we remove duplicates. In removing duplicates, we come to our data. Okay, 496 duplicate values found and removed. Then okay. So the next thing now is to remove the spaces, or to trim out spaces between words. In doing this, we have to make use of our trim formula. But in applying this our trim formula, we cannot just apply the trim formula on this. We have to insert a new row. Follow me closely, please. Using the train formula, we have to make use of the column and the row number. Since we'll be starting with the first cell here, which is the B2, to remove the space between these two words here, we'll make use of D2. So in applying the formula, taking for example, we click on this new cell here that we want to effect the change on, we can easily make use of our trim formula, that is equal to trim D. So just highlighted it for us here to select it, then enter it. So we can either proceed with the same inputs, the same formula input, that is equal to trim the next one is D3. We can either proceed imputing the formula on each of these cells to effect the changes that we want from here to here, or we can fast track it by putting your cursor here, you double click, and the changes that we need will be made for us. So the next formula that we'll be making use of is the proper case formula to remove the inconsistencies in the proper cases or in the cases. So looking at this D here, it's written all in capital letter, and B2 is written in proper case formula, proper case letters. So to do that, we'll just insert a new column. We label it artists. Come back to, okay, let's make use of this formula here. Instead of imputing it, let's put proper. Then in this case, we'll be using still that same D. Let's type proper D2. Making use of the computer formula, we select proper D3. Okay. Double click for the rest. So we have successfully cleaned this data set from this to this and to this. We made use of the trim formula here and made use of the proper case formula here. Now to delete this, we have to select, copy, come back to the original column and paste it. That was a mistake. Copy. And delete. So we've successfully cleaned up this data set by changing this, by adding currency symbol to this, by using trim formula and proper case formula, removing sheet rows, and removing duplicates. Now our next video will be talking about how to handle missing values. Thank you very much for watching.